passes with the British Boxing Board of Control, which we'll await to hear from.
Eddie, early signs. Who's looking to sell more tickets, Wood or Warrington?
Good question. I don't know. You should ask them actually.
Is there a visit to the Rolling Stone?
So it's like 11. Nah. It's like I know. It's like 11,000 the arena. I think both guys will be selling like 4,500 each out of hand. So I think when Leigh Wood boxed Maurizio Lara, he did about 3,000 in Manchester on his own. And Josh Warrington does. I mean, when Josh Warrington boxed in an 8-rounder in, I think it was Munich or wherever it was, he did like 800 in a 6-rounder. This was like 10 years ago. So he'll be doing his 4,000 easy, and the atmosphere will be brilliant in there.
And just follow on to the colleague here, Conor Benn. I saw Manny Pacquiao smiling when people put it to him the other day at the big fight. Is he one of the people?
Yeah, I mean, he's not necessarily in the mix for the next fight, but he's a huge name, and everyone's always going to moan, oh man, first of all, it's like Conor Benn, we don't rate him. Then it's, oh, you can't put him in with Manny, that's a mismatch. What, against Manny Pacquiao? I know he's getting on a bit, but he's still an unbelievable fighter. So we'll have to see. Big name, but probably not next for Conor.
Is Conor ready tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, his weight's not. We was laughing about it the other day. He's probably still.
Well, on that, what weight is he going to be actively?
I mean, look, he wants to campaign at welterweight, but at the same time, happy to take fights at 154, and also the Eubank fight would be at 160. But he's walking around probably 170 at the moment, so he needs to get back in the gym and in full camp, which is now underway.
Eddie, this has all the hallmarks. Wood Warrington has all the hallmarks of being an absolute classic. Is there a rematch clause in this fight? And there's not.
No, which is quite unique because, especially with a champion, the reason for that is because there's a mandatory defence. So the winner of this fight has to fight Komatov regardless, right? So unless they vacate the belt or move up or rematch for no belt. So in that instance, the champion v challenger effect in this fight is actually irrelevant, because if you can't fight each other after this fight for the belt, it has to be Komatov.
That's interesting then, because obviously Leigh Wood's wanted this clause put in the contract that he fights, say there's City Ground next.
But he knows that only happens if he wins.
Of course, but so if he wins, it's Komatov then?
I don't think so. I think he'll move up. I think that his time at featherweight, which has been a long time, and we know he's tight at the weight, but sometimes that's his blessing because he's so strong at 126 pounds. But the problem is with a Komatov fight is when you're trying to sell a stadium fight like the City Ground, we know Komatov's a very good fighter, but you can't walk around Nottingham and say Leigh Wood's fighting Komatov, and the general public around here, or the general sporting audience, get excited. They'll get excited for maybe a Josh Warrington rematch, if it's an unbelievable fight, a Joe Caldina fight, for him to become a 2-division world champion, or another champion, or a big name American. But, I don't want to be disrespectful to Komatov. He's an outstanding fighter, but I don't necessarily see the winner of this fight facing him.
Knowing the way Leigh Wood goes about his business, he's not going to want anything if he moves up, anything other than a world title fight, surely.
Yeah, and nothing else other than City Ground. So it has to be a big fight, but obviously he'll have his mind focused on this one.
If it moves up,
yeah, I think Joe Caldina, obviously, an all-British fight. It's a great fight. Other champions up there as well. But, I think that both these guys, in these kind of fights, it's a bit like next week with AJ, people say, oh, is the loser finished? It's like, fighters don't really like to talk like that, but if they all want mega fights or the biggest fight possible, if you lose at this stage, they're not going to want to come back in a 10-rounder. Do you know what I mean? But everybody loves to fight, and they never want to retire. And I think physically, Leigh Wood, really is in the prime of his career, especially with his performances. And I think Josh Warrington is really physically in a good place as well. So we'll have to see.
And can I get your reaction to just slapping or punching Charlo?
Yeah, he's game, isn't he? Plant always seems to want to chin people, and Charlo didn't do a lot, but let's leave it between the ropes for that kind of stuff.
How would a fight with them two play out?
It's a good fight. Good fight. I just want to see Charlo back in the ring. He's been out now for what, a year and a half?
Yeah.
Something like that. So yeah, it'd be good to see him back in the ring.
And for Komatov, is Ford still kind of the next option?
Yes. If the winner of this fight doesn't fight Komatov, it will be Komatov Ray Ford. for the vacant title, and we'd look to do that as soon as possible after this fight once we got confirmation.
And Conlan said in an interview that he would fight the winner or the loser of this fight. And do you think that's another huge fight for whoever?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, look, he's coming off the end of a bad knockout, but maybe he moves up to super feather as well. And yeah, we'll see. Cheers. Bye, boys.